interested in watching this video. So there's a couple of reasons I wanted to make this video. One, for my own records, and just I'm really bad at writing and journaling and all of that. It's my fourth pregnancy, and I've always said I wanted to do that, and just to keep a timeline and to keep all the information about my pregnancies, but I never actually get to it. And I think this is the best way, just recording myself and having that to look back on. The other reason is because even though this is my fourth pregnancy, it is the first one that is so different. And the reason is because I have the Chorioamniotic sac separation, and that's just something I had never heard of before. In any of my other pregnancies, I didn't even know too much about the sac itself. I didn't know it had two layers and that they fused at some point. There's just so many things about pregnancy that you don't know, and so many things that have to come together in order for it to be a normal pregnancy. So anyway, I didn't know all of that. I do have 3 children, and I did have 2 miscarriages. So obviously every experience has been different in its own way. But this one just caught us off guard, of course, and it's just been in a way a little bit of a roller coaster, even though right now we have a lot of peace for some reason. But anyway, so it all started, the pregnancy started normal, first 3 months. It was just the expectation, obviously, because I had gone through 2 miscarriages 4 years ago. There was still that like nervousness, and just you're always, after a miscarriage, you're always kind of nervous about how your first trimester is going to go, and just hoping that things will be okay. Well, I passed the first trimester. Things looked fine. Everything seemed great because I actually was the least nauseous of all the other times I've been pregnant. I felt good. So things looked like they were progressing. I started showing really, really early. So anyway, and then when I was, 4 months pregnant, I believe. Actually, I'm 6 months right now. 4 months pregnant, I went for my first ultrasound, and I was just so excited to see the babies. The growth. We had heard the heartbeat before in our prenatal appointments, and it was just so sweet to be able to see such developed baby and so active. It was just beautiful. So my husband and I cried in that ultrasound room. We were just happy, relieved in a way, because everything really looked like it was fine. Like the baby was completely fine. We saw the arms, we saw the legs, the spine, just everything looked so perfect. We came out happy. We actually went on a date that day until the next day. The next day we get a call from our midwife, or a text message, saying that she needed to talk to me about the ultrasound results. So obviously that was a little scary, nerve-wracking in that moment. Those messages are usually never good, because if you've had ultrasounds before, you go, and in the next appointment they just bring it up and say, oh, everything looks good, that's it. But when you get a message like, I need to talk to you about your ultrasound, well, you know that there's something there. So anyway, I spoke to her, and she said there was something concerning. Still unsure. We had to wait a little longer because I was at my 14-week mark. So like 14 and a few days, 14 weeks and a few days. And they said, well, between 14 weeks and 16 weeks, the two sacs, the two layers of the sac are supposed to fuse. Like I said, I had never heard of those things before. I didn't know the sac had two layers or anything like that. So it was something absolutely new to me. She said, I don't want to make you nervous. I don't want to get you scared, but I just have to let you know. You have to go back in 2-3 weeks for another ultrasound just to rule out, that there's something there. And, maybe when you go, it will be fused. We'll see. And then, so obviously those next 2 weeks, you're Googling, you're trying to figure things out on your own, like you're gonna, solve things. That was, I think, the hardest for some reason. I was just nervous. It was just nerve-wracking seeing, information and just, okay, what the possibilities are, stillbirth. Also, she had mentioned to my midwife, and on the internet I saw that sometimes when that happens, if the layers don't fuse, there could be an indication there of a type of syndrome, and specifically there were 3 of them, and none of them were. Down syndrome was at least concerning to me. I was like, okay, if I have a kid with Down syndrome, no problem. But the other 2 were like life-threatening things, or kind of syndromes that, like the baby wouldn't live longer outside of the womb, or, just high risk of stillbirth, a lot of things like that. So it was very scary. So every time I would read, I would just, immediately feel tense and feel like hopeless and just not good. So I knew I just had to get away from the internet and reading things and stuff, and just pray more and, just ask the Lord for peace, which is what I did. So anyway, 2 weeks passed. I went to my appointment, and for some reason, I had peace that day, and I left there, even though they did say your sac hasn't fused, the 2 layers haven't fused, that they're still the same. I had such peace that I really didn't even understand it. But I was like, okay, it's fine. So the next step was to take the chromosomal test, just to rule out any of the 3 syndromes that could be present when the 2 layers don't fuse, when you have that separation in your sac. And one of the reasons I'm making this video is also because I saw no videos. There were a few, but no really like testimonies and like people mentioning. It is a rare case, but I'm sure I'm not the only one out there. So I wanted to make this video to inform anyone who's out there going through the same thing. Obviously, my story is not going to be your story, but I wanted more information, and I wanted to hear people that have gone through it. Their thoughts, their life, like what happened. And obviously I have no idea what's ahead. Where we are now is we took the chromosomal test. There was no indication of any type of those chromosomal abnormalities or diseases. So that was ruled out. And now I'm getting ready to see a specialist that's gonna kind of monitor me more closely, and perinatologist, I believe is what they're called. I'll have my first appointment next week, and I'm currently 24 weeks. So just happy seeing my baby grow a lot because it's a huge belly for 24 weeks. But I feel good. I feel fine. We've seen our baby in 3D, thanks to a friend who has a business. Gave us that beautiful gift, and just baby looks great, and I feel fine, and so I have a lot of peace. But obviously, even though there's no indication of chromosomal abnormalities, the fact that the sac is not fused together, is a concern and could, you know, and in just many different ways. So I know one of the things that can happen is your membranes could break early, meaning preterm labor. You know, there's the risk of stillbirth, and the risk of the part that didn't fuse kind of like coming off and sticking to the baby. And I don't remember what the term is, but anyway, that part of the body wouldn't develop if some of that sticks to the baby in whatever part of the body. So there are a lot of risks, and you know, there are reasons to be concerned about, but right now I'm not. I'm just happy and thankful for every kick, every time my baby moves. Just really enjoying life with my other 3 kids, my husband. I'm just grateful. And whatever my story will be, and whatever our baby's story will be, is not in my hands. So all I can do is rest. But I did want to make this video to just have it out there for people that are going through the same thing. So if you want to follow my story, if you want to see what happened, I'll be posting and updating every few weeks, so you don't feel alone. And you know, like I said, just because my story will go a certain way doesn't mean that it's the way your story is gonna go if you have the same problem. But it's just, I feel like it's always good, and it connects us to people in a way when we know somebody else is going through it, and also we like to know the outcome, or one of the possible outcomes in different situations when we go through something. So that's one of the reasons I decided to make this video and share it with the world. So yeah, my name is Louise, and I'll be posting more about this story. See you.